If you were to give Pokémon some other title, what title would you give it? Actually, Pokémon was given a different title in the early stages of development. As such, there were a number of surprising stories about old Pokémon that would be hard to believe your ears if you hear them now. So, I have compiled a list of shocking stories about the first generation Pokémon in a ranking format based on my personal subjective view. 7. The initial Pokémon title. Pokémon is now a household name throughout the world. Did you know that the official name in Japan is Pocket Monster? However, that name was not actually decided at the beginning of development, and they were planning to use a different name. To my surprise, in the early stages of development, the name Capsule Monster was being used. The name Capsule was chosen because Satoshi Tajiri, who was the developer of Pokémon, wanted to fill it with the memories and longings of his childhood. However, the name Capsule was already registered as a trademark and could not be used in the title of the game without permission. So the staff, forced to change the direction of the title name, changed the capsule to a ball, and Pokeball was born. Then, the comment balls can be carried around in your pocket, right, led to the current name Pocket Monster, or Pokémon. 6. Version of the first Pokémon. The first Pokémon was released in Japan in 1996. Later, a red/blue version of the first Pokémon was released overseas in 1998, but the colors of the first Pokémon in Japan are red-green. Many people may wonder why it is not red and blue. The truth is that the original plan was to create 7 versions of the first Pokémon, not just 2. However, it was pointed out that 7 colors were indeed unrealistic, and the number of colors was reduced to 2 versions. At that point, the red and green colors remained, in honor of Nintendo's star and world-famous characters Mario and Luigi. 5th, Ditto was a failure of Mewtoo. Next urban legend is about Ditto. This urban legend states that Ditto is a failure of Mewtoo, in other words, it has Mew's genes. The evidence for this urban legend is as follows. Ditto is a Pokémon that has appeared since the first generation and is classified as a transform Pokémon. It is characterized by its ability to use Transform, a special skill that allows it to transform into the target Pokémon or person it sees. This unique transform skill is characteristic of Ditto, but there is actually another Pokémon that can learn this skill. It is Mew. One reason is its ability to use the one and only transform skill. And pay attention to their appearance. The two Pokémon's body surface color is pink, and their soft-looking forms are similar. Moreover, when the two Pokémon have different colors, they are actually both light blue. And it is not only their appearance that is similar. They even weigh the same, at 4 kilograms. There are also similarities regarding base stats. Mew's base stats are all 100, while Ditto's base stats are all 48, so they have the same values for all parameters in common. While Mew can use all kinds of techniques, Ditto can only learn Transform and has low base stats, making them completely inferior version of Mew. Accordingly, it is said that Ditto may be a failure in the creation of Mewtwo in research. The Pokémon Mansion on Cinnabar Island, where Mew was studied, has a basement floor, the deepest level. In the original Pokémon, Vulpix and Ponyta appeared in the first basement floor, which appeared throughout the mansion, but in the Pikachu version released after the movie Mewtwo Strikes Back was published, Ditto appeared for some reason. And Ditto, which appeared on Route 13 and 14 in the original Pokémon, disappeared in the Pikachu version, appearing only in this Pokémon Mansion and in Cerulean Cave, where Mewtwo lives. All of this led to the urban legend that Ditto is a failed version of Mewtwo, with the same genes as Mew. This is a very plausible theory, don't you think? 4th, the Pokémon Kadabra sued by a human. Next is an urban legend about Kadabra. Kadabra is an psychic-type Pokémon that has appeared since the first Pokémon and uses powerful psychic powers. Kadabra is called Ungeller in Japan. This Ungeller triggered the Ungeller trial, in which Uri Geller, a self-proclaimed psychic from Israel who gained popularity in Japan, filed a lawsuit against Nintendo. Since things get complicated from here, I will call Kadabra Ungeller in this video. Uri Geller's claim is that the Pokémon named Ungeller is clearly based on Uri Geller. He then claimed that this was a plagiarism of his image and that he had violated his right of publicity. Uri Geller's lawsuit was apparently triggered by his discovery of a Geller Pokémon card in Tokyo. In a press interview, he said that the problem is that Geller is a character that causes headaches. He also claimed that the star on its head and the mark like lightning bolt on its belly indicated that these were Nazi-armed SS. The fact that he was portrayed as an anti-Semitic character while using his own name as a Jew is also considered one of the reasons for the lawsuit, and so on, indicating that this is a very deep-rooted lawsuit. Certainly, the public thought that Geller was based on Uri Geller, as the name is similar and the spoon bending was clearly based on Uri Geller, and the case was thought to be overwhelmingly on Nintendo's side. However, the outcome of this trial ended in a victory for Nintendo. The lawsuit itself is true, but the part that has become an urban legend is that Nintendo's lawyers were amazing at that time. Uri Geller's argument was that Geller infringes on his right to use psychic powers, but Nintendo's lawyer tactfully responded to this claim. Geller can use psychic powers. If you think it's the same thing, then you can use your psychic powers right here and now. In response, Uri Geller fell silent and dropped the lawsuit, which has become an urban legend. In fact, however, Nintendo's argument that Uri Geller, who filed a lawsuit in the Los Angeles District Court in the United States seeking approximately $100 million in damages, was outside California's jurisdiction because he is an Israeli-British national living in the United Kingdom, was accepted and dismissed, according to the report. Also on November 29, 2020, Uri Geller announced that he had informed Nintendo that he was dropping the ban on Geller cards that he had requested from Nintendo. On Twitter, he said that withdrawing the ban request is very important for children. He also apologized for this 20-year-old lawsuit, saying he learns more from his mistakes than his successes. Since there is no record of a court case other than those mentioned above, it is questionable whether this ban on issuance was legally effective. However, as will be discussed below, no Geller cards have actually appeared, and it is believed that this was an attempt to break the situation that was preventing the issuance of new cards by expressing to Nintendo that they would not take the issue any further. Third, Voltorb was born from Pokeball. When it comes to Pokemon, the Pokeball is an inseparable tool. This time, I would like to share an urban legend about a Pokemon called Voltorb, which looks a lot like a Pokeball. A Pokeball is a tool that can be used to catch wild Pokemon or to store and carry Pokemon. It is spherical in shape, with the upper half colored red and the lower half white. On the other hand, Voltorb is an electricity-type Pokemon that has appeared since the first generation. It is classified as a ball Pokemon, and its appearance closely resembles that of a Pokeball. It is mainly found in power plants and abandoned buildings, and attacks people who examine it thinking it is an item. When it reaches level 30, it evolves into Electrode, and the red and white colors of its body become opposite. Wild Pokemon are captured by throwing a Pokeball, right? However, if the Pokemon has too much energy, it will leave the ball without being caught. Since the Pokeball is consumable, you cannot use it again if you fail to capture the Pokemon. A trainer with good manners would probably pick it up and dispose of it properly, but basically it is left alone. Urban legend has it that the Pokeball discarded at that time will, over time, transform into a Voltorb, just as objects eventually become monsters. In other words, Voltorb equals Pokeball. The Pokemon Guide of Voltorb, in the Crystal version, states, an examination of the composition of its body reveals that it is made of a substance that cannot be found in nature. In the Ruby version, the connection between the similarity in appearance and the fact that it was first discovered by a company that makes Pokeballs is still a mystery. If it is made of a substance that cannot be found in nature, and was first discovered by a company that makes Pokeballs, it is not only likely to be related to the Pokeball, but it is the complete end result of the Pokeball. And the statement in the Pokemon Guide of the Sapphire version is, it explodes quickly at the slightest shock, rumored to have been created when a Pokeball was subjected to a powerful pulse. And remember where Voltorb appears. In the first generation, it was the power plant, and in the Ruby and Sapphire versions, it was New Mauville, and many of the places where they appear are places where there are power plants. In other words, could it be that Pokeballs left in places where a lot of pulses are generated are transformed into Voltorb? The Sapphire version of the Pokemon Guide also suggests a link to Pokeballs with a fairly high degree of certainty. Second, Kyubone and Kangaskhan were actually parent and child. two Pokémon named Kyubone and Kangaskhan. There is an urban legend that they are actually parent and child. First, here is some basic information about the two Pokémon. Kyubone is a Pokémon that has been around since the first generation. The skull it wears on its head belonged to its dead mother, and it has a sad setting that sometimes makes it cry when it remembers her. For this reason, it is classified as a lonely Pokémon. At LV 28, it evolves into Marowak and changes into a ferocious character. In the first Pokémon, Marowak, Kyubone's mother in town, was killed by Team Rocket, and Marowak's grudge appears in the Pokémon Tower. Many of you may remember this. Kangaskhan is another Pokémon that has been around since the first generation. It is a normal type and classified as a parent-child Pokémon based on the kangaroo, and it raises its children in a pouch inside its belly. There are two main reasons why the theory that Kyubone's mother is Kangaskhan has emerged. The first is simply that they look alike. Don't you think they match each other more than you think? The pattern on the belly of Kangaskhan's offspring and Kyubone's looks the same. It is no wonder that they are evolutionary forms. And here is a comparison of Marowak, the evolved form, and Kangaskhan. Their body features are similar in some places, aren't they? This has been a rumor for a long time. To back this up, however, a second reason was born in the Sun-Moon version. A new element in the Sun-Moon version is that wild Pokémon may call their friends. Basically, it calls for Pokémon of the same species or evolved forms. However, when Kyubone calls for a mate, Kangaskhan sometimes appears for some reason. This led to a renewed interest in the theory that Kyubone's mother is Kangaskhan. Kyubone may have been a Pokémon that diverged and evolved into Marowak and Kangaskhan. First place, Butterfree and Venomoth were supposed to be opposite in evolution. Next up is an urban legend about Butterfree and Venomoth. Both Pokémon have appeared since the first generation. Butterfree is modeled after a butterfly and Venomoth is modeled after a moth. Butterfree is a bug and flying type and has water-repellent scales coated on its wings, allowing it to work even on rainy days. They are good at finding tasty flower honey and will sometimes bring it home from 10 kilometers away from home. Butterfree is the final evolution of Caterpie. When Caterpie reaches level 7, it evolves into Metapod, and when Metapod reaches level 10, it evolves into Butterfree. Venomoth, on the other hand, is a bug and poison-type Pokémon. Like Butterfree, Venomoth has phosphorus on its wings, and it sprays a poisonous powder every time it flaps its wings. Venomoth is an evolved form of Venonat and evolves into Venomoth when Venonat reaches level 31. However, the urban legend introduced here is that Butterfree and Venomoth evolved at opposite ends, that is, the evolution of Venonat was Butterfree and the evolution of Metapod was Venomoth. There are two reasons why this is so. The first is that the characteristics of Venonat and Butterfree, and Metapod and Venomoth, are similar. Second, the change in weight is unnatural. Let's start with the first, the characteristics of each. First, Venonat and Butterfree have interestingly similar features: eyes, mouth, hands, and antennae. Especially the eyes, hands, and antennae are exactly the same. Next, regarding Metapod and Venomoth, their eye shapes and buttocks are similar. Although the eyes of Metapod are not an exact match due to the fact that they are half open and small, you can see that they are more similar than Butterfree. As for the buttock pattern, the three lines are identical. There are various views on the antennae, but it makes sense to think that the three antennae that grow on Venomoth are housed in Metapod's head. Now let's look at the second reason, weight. Metapod weighs 9.9 kilograms, but when it evolves into Butterfree, it weighs a whopping 32.0 kilograms. Don't you think it is a bit unnatural for a chrysalis to gain about 20.0 kilograms, even though it has just hatched? On the other hand, Venonat weighs 30.0 kilograms and Venomoth weighs 12.5 kilograms, which somehow becomes less than half as light just by hatching. Now let's reverse the evolutionary destination here. Metapod weighing 9.9 kilograms becomes Venomoth weighing 12.5 kilograms. Venonat weighing 30.0 kilograms becomes Butterfree weighing 32.0 kilograms. Don't you think it would look totally reasonable if it were reversed? How was it? That's all for this urban legend. I will like to continue to bring you various information about Pokémon on this channel. from funny stories to slightly scary urban legends about Pokémon. So, if you love Pokémon or find it interesting, please click the like button and subscribe to our channel. Then we look forward to seeing you again.